Sarvam Yogi Ramsuratkumar Ashram. It's once again celebration of His grace for this wonderful opportunity given to us for singing His powerful name. Let's offer our grateful pranams at His feet. And Bhagwan has been helping us in so many ways. We have been getting glimpses of Bhagwan's life story and also the stories of His glory, His Nama's glory. In the previous days, we saw how the Nama helped people in difficult circumstances. The picture, the form, the name. There are some rare occasions where there seems to be no need even to call. And Bhagwan, His vibrant presence, does everything that's needful. We do not know what is involved in these cases, but surely they must be deserving it in some way or the other. Bhagwan would have gone inside deeply. Now we shall see. Everybody knows Sri Perumal Raju of Krishnagiri. Though his body is no more, he still lives among the devotees through his books, his praises of Bhagwan, through his stories of his experiences. Srimati Mahalakshmi, wife of Sri Perumal Raju, both were very, very devoted to Bhagwan, would come as often as they could. And Mrs. Mahalakshmi's voice is so sweet, and she used to sing a particular song which would start like this. He came from somewhere, we do not know where. He called himself a shepherd. What have I done? What tapas have I done to deserve such man, such grace? To have someone like this man, what have I done? He looks after me like the eyelids look after the eyes. He is my friend. He is my guide. He is my everything. He He's my teacher. He would do anything for me. He would run errands for me. Whatever I ask him to do, he would do it with such dedication. And Bhagwan would enjoy this so much. And then he would say, Mahalakshmi, sing once more. And then she would sing again. And Bhagwan would be completely lost in this song. There would be such tenderness, such love, such divine beauty and joy on his face. And as soon as she finished, she'll say, Mahalakshmi, sing once more. So this would go on, this Leela would go on and on and on. He enjoyed the song and we enjoyed him. We enjoyed every expression of his, every gesture of his, every movement of his eye. Srimati Mahalakshmi, a very special being, she was able to touch the depths of his heart by her mere singing. Now one day, Srimati Mahalakshmi was the headmistress of a school in Krishnagiri, and there were about 2,500 students in the school. You can imagine the management of such a big institution. There was always a lot of work to do. One day, her husband, Perumal Raju, had gone out. So there was very little left for her to do by way of cooking or doing anything else. So in the morning, by 7 o'clock, she finished her household work and was thinking, there is so much work, the record work of the students. So now that I am free of this housework, why shouldn't I go early then? Thinking so, she started to walk out. She walked towards her school, and the school was so near the national highways. There would be all kinds of vehicles flying across. And she was always scared. The students would be playing about. And so she gave a very strict instruction to the parents of the students that the school would start only at 9 o'clock. It was enough if they sent their children by 8 o'clock or 8:30, not before that. She warned them now and then. So that day, when she was walking towards, when she neared the compound of the school, she saw many, many students playing inside and outside. Nearly 500 students. She felt very disturbed that so early and so many students, and there was no teacher to look after them. And some of the students were coming out, screaming, shouting with joy, and they could easily slip out to the road, the highways, heavy traffic. So looking at them, she was very disturbed, But she could do nothing about it at that time because there was no one else. And it was just like any other day. The day dawned just like any other day. She went straight to her room and started her work, and soon she was completely absorbed in her work. And suddenly, unexpectedly, a boy turned up at the doorstep, and he called out to Mahalakshmi and said, "Ma'am, can I ring the bell now?" It was hardly 7:30, 7:45, it was a little before 8 o'clock, so early. The school would start only at 9 o'clock, the bell would ring only at 9, and it would be a long bell to announce that the students should gather in that huge hall. But that day, it was as early as 8 o'clock, and this boy was asking. And she was so absorbed in her work, absent-mindedly, she said, "Okay." Little did she realize that she had said it. And soon the bell was heard, the long bell, and all the students who were playing outside and inside, they gathered immediately, and they came running towards the hall. She got up, she also started to walk absent-mindedly, but then suddenly it flashed. What is this? It's hardly 8 o'clock, and the long bell, and I gave permission to him. Why would I do this? What is happening? Even as she was thinking and coming out of her room, what she saw, she froze. She just stopped walking, looked horrified, and froze in her place. A huge, heavy truck was climbing the wall, the compound wall of the school, and then the compound wall broke down. It came down heavily upon the floor. She was shocked and was trembling, almost fainted. And just then 1 or 2 teachers had come, and they came running towards her and held her. She realized. She went through the sequence of events that happened right from morning. Why would she finish the work so early? Why did it strike her to come to the school early? Even then, she was always very careful about the timings, about everything, every detail of the school. Why would she get absorbed in her work to the extent that when a student turned up and asked, "Could he ring a bell?" why would she say yes? And that made all the students move away from the compound wall. So she realized what could have possibly happened had it not been for the long bell. Out of time. So many children would have died on the spot, and many would have been hurt. And the news would be out in the media, in all the newspapers. And what would the public think of the school, of her and the teachers? There would be many, many questions from many quarters, and what would she say to the parents? Whatever she said whatever she answered, would they be able to accept it? How terrible it could have all been. She was absolutely horrified that this should happen at all. And then she immediately realized the grace behind it all. She came home after that, after settling everything. When she rushed home, she stood before Bhagwan and cried her heart out. She did not even remember him at the time because she was absorbed in the work. She did not call out his name. She did not look at his photograph. She did nothing to invoke grace, but every moment the grace had acted. Just thinking about it, something melted in her, and there were tears streaming down non-stop. Soon her husband, Perumal Raju, turned up, and she shared this news with him. He also felt completely moved to tears, just thinking about Bhagwan. Just imagine, there are moments, unguarded moments. We are taken unawares by unexpected events, incidents. But for the grace, what would we do? What could we do? Anything could have happened that day. So Perumal Raju said, okay, let's rush to Swami. We will tell him about it. We have to thank him nicely for all that he is doing. So they came to Sanadi Street House, and that day Bhagwan had left the door open as though he was waiting for these people to come. Of course, he knew. He welcomed them with a smile, and when they were seated, very excitedly, they started to tell him what happened, all the details. After listening to that, there was only one thing that he asked. Mahalakshmi, did you see that student's face? Did you see him after that? And that's when it struck her that she missed out on that altogether. Again, she wondered how she could have acted. She should have called that boy and thanked him nicely. Why didn't? At least she was so absorbed in her work, she could not see his face. But after that, it was the boy who had saved everybody that day. He was a saving grace. Why didn't it strike her to look for that boy? She once again froze, thinking about it. Why? What have I done? Why didn't I ask for the boy? And suddenly, she felt that boy was not there. He appeared at that moment, did his job, and disappeared. And knew instantly that Swami was referring to this boy just to hint that it was he who came in that form, in time. You can imagine her state of mind at the time when she knew it was too much for her. She was beside herself with joy, absolutely overwhelmed. Just see how the grace, Bhagwan could do anything. Sitting there in Sangadhi Street House, he knew what was going to happen. He inspired her that day to start early. And what was more, when he found her absorbed in the work, it was he who came in the form of the student to announce, to ask. So once again, Bhagwan proved the truth of the theme of the song. He came from somewhere and called himself a shepherd. What tapas must I have done to deserve such a one in my life? The one who looks after me, who protects me, even as the eyelids would protect the eye. He is my friend. He is my teacher. He is my philosopher. And he is my errand boy. She was singing that song so many times in his presence, and he proved the truth of it without even her calling out. There is another incident which surprised me no end. The Parsee couple, Kurush and Anaheeta, well known to the devotees who visit the ashram. They started to come only towards the end, I think probably 2000. But despite their religion, they are Parsees and they follow the dictates of Zoroaster. They have the Zendavsta. Shri Paramacharya said once that the book of the Parsees was originally Chandogya. Chandogya became Zendavsta in course of time, and they worship fire. They are the worshippers of fire. Now just see what happened. One day, they have an apartment in Bangalore. Kurush had gone to some place. So his wife Anaheeta and the children, they were there in the bedroom, sleeping through the night. Early morning, when Anaheeta got up, to her horror, she found the whole house filled with the cooking gas. There was such pungent smell of the gas, and it was everywhere. She was absolutely horrified because it's a modern apartment. The kitchen has no door, and next to the kitchen, they have this photograph of Bhagwan. And she would light a lamp there, and the lamp would burn all the 24 hours. It would keep on burning, and she would say to it, the children are very, very devoted to Bhagwan. They would come here and sing this lori, the lullaby, before the shrine, though Tamil is not their language. All the three found themselves alive, and when she rushed out to see the puja place, the lamp was still burning. The whole night It was burning. It was still burning when she came there at 5 o'clock. The whole cylinder was empty. Only the day before, they had got a new cylinder and a new cook. The new cook had forgotten to close that, and there was a leakage. But somehow, by the grace of Bhagwan, the burning lamp was still burning, and the gas was everywhere, and they did not connect. How could this happen? Who protected? Who kept them away from each other? They were worshippers of fire. And Bhagwan, it was there, the lamp was right in front of Bhagwan. How can you understand this? They did not even know that it was spreading all through. They were fast asleep. And when she woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, to her horror she found the whole place filled with gas. When she rushed, she found the lamp still burning. Just imagine if they should connect, what would happen. Not only the whole apartment, there were other apartments nearby. Anything. You can't imagine the damage it would have caused. And what about lives? Again, we see a different dimension here, how Bhagwan, without being called, protected them. The children, very, very devoted to Bhagwan, would sing all the songs. And they would sit in the satsang, listen to the teachings, and go about practicing them also. It's amazing. It's amusing also. At the same time, it's amazing how they absorb the ideas discussed, the teachings that are discussed in satsang. Once I was saying in the satsang that Yogi Ramsuratkumar, the divine, is in every being, be it a crawling ant or a worm, a wriggling worm, or the huge ocean or mountain, even in the stone, in every human being, in every animal, every plant. Bhagwan is there. It's because Bhagwan is in each of us, we are alive at all in the first place. They had listened to it, absorbed it, and I believe 2 days after, when they were walking on the road, I think one of the children was about to step on a worm, and the other immediately said, I think it is Cyrus, the little one, the little boy, said, Ari, don't step on that. There is Bhagwan in the worm. Bhagwan will be hurt. Don't step on that. Be careful. So you see, Bhagwan responded to the children, perhaps. We do not know what is involved, but there are such incidents where Bhagwan's grace works automatically. Now that Bhagwan is here right in front of us, standing all the time, with his hands raised in a gesture of blessing, We shall submit our today's prayers at his feet. Bhagwan, in Tamil Nadu, it's almost normal everywhere, but there are other places, especially the foreign countries, where the situation is not so good. In fact, there is second lockdown and the rules are even more rigorous. We can only seek your blessings. There's no other goal. The panic is ruling everybody's heart and the disease is spreading, and they say it's a variant of this corona. Bhagwan, we beg you again and again for your immediate divine intervention in order to free the entire world, all the countries, from the grip of this dreadful virus and bring back normalcy everywhere in the world. And Bhagwan, please remove the panic from the hearts of people, uproot it, and stop the spread of the disease. And enter this vaccine so that it becomes potent, would be able to kill the virus instantly because you are there. Nothing is impossible for you. And Bhagwan, all those people, the brave soldiers who are fighting the disease against all the challenges, we beg you to give them protection and all-round welfare, and definitely a boost to the economy. Above all, we beg you again and again for constant remembrance of your name and the attitude of gratitude for all that you are doing to us, and the attitude again of being an instrument, a fine instrument in your hands. Always. Jai Yogi Ramsuratkumar.